I decided to take an apprenticeship because I thought that that was a really good option for me. And honestly, a lot of the people that I was around, like my parents, my uncles, a lot of the people in my family were skilled tradespeople. So it seemed like the natural progression for me. I really didn't look at college or university as a really viable option for me when I was leaving high school. And I was just interested in building and fixing things. So that just seemed like the natural progression. So I did my apprenticeship in the Hamilton area. I worked for a company called KG Custom Fabricating, and then later on it was called Steelhead Custom Fabricating, is where I served my apprenticeship. What I liked the most, I think, about it was just the fact that I was able to do a lot of new things. I was able to do, when I was coming up in my trade, one thing that I always got to see is I always got to see people using tools or doing these really neat things. And then I always really liked the time when people would take the time to show me how to use those things. So, because when you start an apprenticeship, you're basically entry level and you're just kind of looking around at people going, how are you doing this? Because they have years of experience to do these things and you're on your first day. So you look at all these really cool things and then gradually one at a time, people show you how to do these little tricks and tips. And then before you know it, you're doing the same thing that they're doing. So just getting to use machines and tools and stuff like that in really interesting ways and then learning how to use them safely and more efficiently, just the gradual progression is that's one of the things that I really like the most. For the one I can remember the most was learning how to use a plasma cutter. I've seen it being used a lot, but when I got the chance to finally do it, I was terrible at it. And then you just get better and better at it, right? Like anything else. And then finally you're using it to make a really nice product. Like everybody else, you keep working. So that's the natural. So there's no, it's not like when you complete, there's a ceremony like a graduation or anything like that. Like I finished my apprenticeship, I wrote my test, and then I became a tradesperson. And then I went back to work the next day. And then eventually I just kept working. So, and then if the company I was working for at the time, they closed down. So then I was able to go off to another company, and then I had a credential behind me. So it was a little bit more of like I completed a college program, so people knew that I knew my stuff, so I could go in with some paperwork behind me to validate my skills. But yeah, I just kept working. I would recommend it because it is a viable pathway for a lot of people, and there's a lot of opportunities out there. I recognize that not everybody is going to go to college or university, like myself. And if you want to do something with your hands, or if you're the kind of person who likes to just be kind of a lot more, I don't know the word that I would like to say, but it's an opportunity to be invested in your work in a way that is not the traditional pathway that a lot of people might see, but it's a lot of standing, it's a lot of doing, it's a lot of fixing, it's mental work as well as physical work. It's very rewarding. So I think a lot of people can find reward in what they could do in a skilled trade. To not just stop looking at the top 5 or the top 10. In the province of Ontario, there's actually 144 different trade options. So that's quite a lot. And a lot of people get stuck on things like, I want to be a carpenter or a welder or an electrician or a plumber or a mechanic. Like those are like the big top 5. But if you kind of dig into a little bit more, you can actually find some really neat things that are not oversaturated with a lot of people looking to get into the industry. My brother-in-law is an electrician, and he said it's very difficult for people to get an apprenticeship right now as an electrician because there was a lot of retirements after COVID. And then so there's not enough people to mentor the new people trying to get in. So there's a lot of a bottleneck situation there. So maybe instead of going down this pathway, but maybe trying to go over here a little bit and look at, say, maybe some of those ones that are not as traditional might be something that is worth looking into. For myself, I was a steam fitter, or I am a steam fitter, and that's like an offshoot of a plumber. A plumber works in your house, but a steam fitter would work in a factory or in an industrial plant, like a power plant or a hospital or something like that. So it's kind of the same, but it's a little bit different. So there's a lot more opportunities in those ones that are not the common ones.